Once again, Halloween Horror Nights had an originals announcement week, and I am so ready to talk about it. We received our first look into interesting concepts that I think you might enjoy. Welcome to Ace Territory. Now let's get into it.
1, 2, is this on?
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Little pig, let me in. All who come to this happy place, welcome.
Don't waste your time looking back. You're not going that way.
Winter is coming.
Did you miss me?
You are one crew, or you're the enemy of one crew. Choose.
We started the week strong on Monday with a favorite returning for hardcore HHN fans. Bloodengutz presents a Halloween Fright-Tacular. The official synopsis for the story says, on a dark and stormy Halloween night, your favorite maitre d' macabre returns to WKB with a special scare-a-thon. Tune into your curated selection of Bloodengutz Halloween favorites in this haunted house complete with ghouls, gore, and all the frights that keep you coming back for more. This alone excites me, but there are more details that I want to get into. Bloody Disgusting interviewed Ramon Parado, who's part of the creative team for HHN, and he mentioned that not only are they progressing the story previously told, but they are bringing back the original actor from 15 years ago, which I love because we're going to see a real, authentic progression in the way the character looks, acts, and feels. In the interview, Ramon reminded everyone that time and a prison stay have altered the horror host as we last saw him. He has a new look to him that is leaning into his imprisonment. Since he's escaping straight from the prison and returning to the derelict studio, he tries to piece together his former look as much as he can. He also states there are 7 movies that we're presenting as scenes in the haunted house. Some of those movies are callbacks to HHN's past. This reminds me so much of another HHN original concept in Slaughter Cinema, which is exciting, but what I think fascinates me even more is when Paradoa said, it is all centered around that holiday, and I think this house almost being representative of the holiday within our slate we were really excited about. So I wanted to make sure that it felt authentic and captured that magical feeling of Halloween in every way we could. I think this will make the house accessible and fun for all guests. So to any newcomers, don't be afraid, because though this house is a dedication to the lifelong fans, this is going to have classic Halloween vibes that will help you have the time of your lives regardless on if you know the story or not. Out of the 4 originals that were announced, this is easily my most hyped. We're living in one of the coolest times where we get to experience a sequel based off of lore from HHN past. Ever since I started going to HHN in 2019, there is not a year that his name is not mentioned, whether in rumors or just because fans have wanted him back so badly. For those wanting to know the backstory that leads to this year's HHN 35 house, go check out the video that's on it now. Also, I'd really appreciate it if you like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification icon to receive alerts when I post a new video. For daily content, news, and updates, follow me on Instagram and TikTok under the same name, Ace Territory, and follow my new X under Ace Territory X. Now let's get back to it with Tuesday, which threw the HHN community for a loop when we didn't get an announcement. It left some speculation on whether we were getting an original announcement week like we did last year. But Wednesday came around and Halloween Horror Nights released our second original announcement of the week, Madlands Caged Cannibals. The description for this house is, a defunct zoo is now the deadly domain of warring cannibals that have taken their animal instincts to extremes. They're territorial, they're hungry, and your lunch. To dive a little further, Laura Sauls, one of the main creators for HHN, had an interview with Cinema Blend, and she mentioned a few things that caught my attention. One of our new scenic designers had the idea for this post-apocalyptic zoo that was infested by this tribe of cannibals because animals were extinct. Humans are cannibals, and they took on the tropes and traits of the animals that once lived in this zoo. These tribes take on these traits out of what they've seen on these old zoo signage and things around the old zoo, because this is so far from after the animals are extinct, so they don't really know. Based off of what she described the house as and what we were rumored to get potentially being a carry-based zoo, I'm a bit skeptical about the zoo aspect of the house. It seems to me that it's going to be taking a backseat to the cannibals aspect of the story, which I'm totally okay with because I like the idea of it being very bloody and gory, but then what is the point of having the setting of a zoo? When I think of a zoo, I expect big sets and big, loud, and scary animals that quickly pop in and out of nowhere. I don't know if I really see that with this house. I mean, we could potentially get some really big sets, but it does seem that animals are off the table. Either way, I do have faith that they will do what they can to make the cannibals dressing up and acting like the animals as scary as possible, and hope that it won't feel as repetitive as I'm initially thinking it'll be. Dun 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 dun. Thursday, we got the announcement of Cybergoria, where you'll awaken thousands of years in the future in this haunted house and brave a cold world driven by machines with a singular goal to make you live forever, even if it kills you. Humanity slipped off into machine-induced cryosleep with the promise we'd awaken immortal. Instead, we found that our cybernetic caretakers had stripped away our flesh, transforming us into something beyond human. This seems to have been pulled from the rumors that mentioned returns of cyborgs from Slaughter Cinema HHN 33, Buscon from Bugs Eaten Alive HHN 31, and Vanity Ball, a scare zone from HHN 29. According to HHN creative Matt Flood, the house will take guests through a freezing process into a disturbing future where man and machine have melded, and even outside the facility to see what's become of the world. He also compared the way they are thinking and creating this house to the way they did Insidious from HHN 33, which if it's even half as scary as Insidious, I'll be very happy with this house. But that's still a very big comparison that they have to be very careful with what they say, and one I'll be taking with a grain of salt. The potential makeup and sets we could be getting are also very intriguing to me. From the key art released with the announcement, it looks like we're getting human metal robot hybrids, which I find to be much scarier and better than the slow, boxy, cartoony robots we received in Cyborgs. I do hope we get, and I can picture a setting like Terminator 2 when they were at war in Los Angeles 2029 with rubble everywhere, where the world is destroyed and it's a chaotic war zone like atmosphere with evil machines all around and things being blown up all over the place. I will say I do have some questions, like why make the effort to make me immortal only to kill me later on? I think some parts of the story are a little all over the place, but I do like the potential that this one has. The story they gave reminds me of the Terminator, Matrix, and Fallout all combined, and though this is not the Terminator, I've always wanted a house based on the franchise, so this can mean we're one step closer, and I'm so excited for that. Our final announced house was released on Friday with Invasion: Alien Abduction. The official synopsis for this one is, we will make contact with horrors from worlds unknown in this haunted house where a ship full of Greys have torn apart a remote homestead in search of fresh subjects. The Greys definitely didn't come in peace, but you will leave in pieces. Enter this haunted house in the middle of an alien abduction and scramble through the wreckage of a ravaged southwestern homestead, surviving viciously probing tentacles and making contact with horrors from the dark and distant reaches of our galaxy. Charles Gray, the HHN creative in charge of this house, mentioned that HHN has been trying to bring an alien concept for the past 5 years without it feeling humorous and cheesy. They wanted to tell a story of the horrific moment at night when they're coming to take you, which is frightening, and he feels they finally have that story with this house. At first, I, and I'm sure most HHN fans, thought this was going to be a sequel house to the HHN 2017 Scare Zone Invasion. I unfortunately didn't get to experience this back in the day, and I know I would love an invasion story that's a little bit more colorful and humorous, but I'm glad we're getting this concept that they came up with instead. This will be my very first time experiencing a pure alien-style house, and I want to see how scary and unique they can get with an alien story and alien makeup and costume design. Now, before I get into my hype rankings for all the originals, and though it was not part of Originals Week, I wanted to mention the first original house announcement we received back in March during the MegaCon panel, and that's Jack and Oddfellow, Chaos and Control. The house's story is, witness Jack the Clown's unholy origins, then enter Dr. Oddfellow's wickedly twisted universe, where two of the most powerful forces in horror face off in a deathmatch of chaos versus control. Dr. Oddfellow is going to narrate the retelling of Jack the Clown's backstory, and at first they are not going to see eye to eye, and towards the end they still might not, but they will decide to work together to form the Infernal Carnival of Nightmares, which is the overall theme for Halloween Horror Nights 35 and what you will see reflected throughout the event. I do feel the story is something I have to see and experience in order to fully understand the dynamic between the two and understand why they end up teaming together. I would have loved an MCU-style OG Icons versus Modern Icons storyline, and I'm sure down the line we get something similar, maybe during a major anniversary like HHN 40 or HHN 50. But I'm really excited to see the story being told in this one. We could be getting some really fun Easter eggs, maybe some icons in reference, or even some icons in the flesh. And since it does have to do with Jack the Clown's backstory, I really do hope we get an appearance and maybe even a fresh start for Eddie Schmidt, who is Jack the Clown's brother. Just like with my HR Bloodengutz video, I plan to do dives into HHN lore based on everything from specific houses, specific years, and specific characters like Eddie, Jack, and Dr. Oddfellow. So stay tuned, and if you have any characters or stories you would like told, just let me know in the comments. Finally, what we all been waiting for, my hype list. I'm going to start from least hype to most hype, and it's going to be starting with number 5, Madlands, Caged Cannibals. 4, Invasion, Alien Abduction. 3, it's going to be Cybergoria. 2, HR Bloodengutz presents a Halloween Fright-Tacular. And 1, Jack and Oddfellow, Chaos and Control. Let me know which originals that you were most excited for and what your ranking will be. Once the IP houses are all announced, I will be making another video and rank them as well, so stay tuned. We still have 2 more IP houses to be announced, as well as scare zones, frequent fear passes, food and drinks, and at least 1 more show, since as the making of this video, we received the announcement of Nightmare Fuel Blood Noir, which I'm very excited for, as this will be a whole new theme this year. I do have some more thoughts in it, but I'll definitely share them in my main hype video leading up to the event. Once again, I appreciate you all and thank you for watching. I'm still very new to this, so if you have any suggestions or videos you'd like to see, let me know in the comments or feel free to send me any messages. Stay safe, stay tuned for the next one, and remember, once this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.